fire, yeah. Survivors won't pray for luck. Belief could be hard as rocks. Go against the deepest dark. The saddest calling you above the sky. This war will end with the bravest men. Stand on the regroup for the fight. Now we've come back. I'm wondering who I am. Born through the fire, chasing for the meaning of the endless fighting. Who I am, the hands of flame. Would I be a hero? Would I see my never land? I'll fight for the dreams that you had. Believe in your friends, get ready for the world's fight. You know who I am. It's right on time. Illuminate and lead the sky till the dawn gets you back to life. Die at night, the shadow of the lonely night. The sword is losing its light. There's nowhere to hide. It's time to face the dark and fight them back. The sand is turning into evil black. Burns the desert into ash. Ruin the ark of chaos fire, yeah. Survivors won't pray for luck. Belief could be hard as rocks. Go against the deepest dark. The saddest calling you above the sky. This war will end with the bravest men. Stand on the regroup for the fight. Now we've come back. I'm wondering who I am. Run through the fire, chasing for the meaning of the endless fighting. Who I am, the hands of flame. Would I be a hero? Would I see my neverland? I'll fight for the dreams that you had. Believe in your friends, get ready for the world's fight. You know who I am. It's right on time. Illuminate the bleeding sky till the dawn brings you back to life. I've seen my people down, a sword in their hands, still standing their ground. No time for sadness, holding my faith, just keep on moving on. As fires are falling everywhere, crying in the air, shouting out a glorious name. The name of the Savior in history till forever. Your faith is leading your way to the light. We know the real fighters never die. Stand tall and fight them one more time. Now we've come back. You're gonna know who I am. Run through the fire, finding out the meaning of the ruthless fighting. Here I am, the hands of flame. I will be the hero and rebuild my home, my land. I'll fight for the dreams that you had. Believe in your friends, get ready for the world's fight. You know who I am. It's right on time. Illuminate and lead the sky till the dawn gets you back to life. Die at night, the shadow of the bleeding night. The sword is losing its light. There's nowhere to hide. It's time to face the dark and fight them back. The moon is turning into evil red. Burns the desert into ash. Ruin the ark with chaos fire, yeah. Survivors won't pray for luck. Belief could be hard as rocks. Go against the deepest dark. The saddest calling you above the sky. This war will end with the bravest men. Stand on the regroup for the fight. Now we've come back. I'm wondering who I am. Born through the fire, chasing for the meaning of the endless fighting. Who I am, the hands of flame. Would I be a hero? Would I see my neverland? I'll fight for the dreams that you had. Believe in your friends, get ready for the world's fight. You know who I am. It's right on time. Illuminate and lead the sky till the dawn gets you back to life. Die at night, the shadow of the lonely night. The sword is losing its light. There's nowhere to hide. It's time to face the dark and fight them back. The sand is turning into evil black. Burns the desert into ash. Ruin the ark of chaos fire, yeah.
Welcome, everybody. Anthony here. I hope y'all are as excited as I am. Rockers, we are going to be casting over the second of the two semifinal matches in the grand finals. Holy smokes, that is a tongue twister between 61HX and 60GT. Both of these teams had a tremendous road to winning the Osiris League in their respective realms. One coming out of Anubis and the other coming out of Sobek. And it's going to be very interesting to watch. I'm excited to cast over this. It is going to be very, very interesting to see how 61HX adapt their strategy coming from Sobek, where the commanders were locked, to being in an event where they are all unlocked. So I hope y'all are as excited as we are. Chiskel and I casted the first match between 1V and 06HS, which was phenomenal. We saw a lot of unique things come out in that match, from different commander pairings to switches in museum, type pairings and all that kind of stuff. And it was actually a phenomenal match cast. There was a lot of surprises, ins and outs, mid-game strats. It'll be fun to see how these two lock horns and absolutely battle it out today. Welcome everybody to the chat. I hope you'll enjoy the stream. We're going to dive into it. We got a little bit to talk about before the match starts here in a couple of minutes. If y'all have questions, feel free to post them in the channel, and we'll check them out. So let's get over into it, and we'll start looking at the match. All right, so we're looking at the screen grand finals as we go into it. We already saw that the first match was played between 1V and 06HS. That one was actually a really close match in the very beginning. Came down to structures. To kind of recap it, structures were very strong with 06. Mid game was phenomenal for 1V again. And, it was just different, unique combos. We saw a lot of Hondas on the field. We actually saw some surprising combos as well. A lot of Eddie Tommies out on the field on the side of 1V. Always a lot of Ethels as well, Ethel Trajans. And just very unique breakoffs. 06, we're able to steal first occupation for that first altar away from 1V, and then it all just came down. It started leaking out through mid game, and that's where 1V really pulled it away at the very end. It's going to be very exciting to watch 61HX versus 60GT. Just to give y'all kind of a heads up on what we're looking at. The rules for this grand finals are a little different than your Osiris League. Okay, they neutralize the field essentially all down the board. Equipment is not allowed on here. Troops are capped off at 2 million of each. And then we have a 500K limit on T1 Cav. Additional buffs outside of that, if you check through the rules, we won't go through and read through all of them. And it just kind of goes through, they mitigate everything. VIP does not count in this as well. So they make it about as even as you possibly can in here. All commanders are available. They are all prestiged and expertised out of their minds. So it's just about strategy. It all comes down to strategy. Whoever wins this match today will then move into round 2, 3, and 4, where it will become a best of 3 between the winners of these two matches this week. So I'm excited to see who's going to be facing off against 1V next weekend to determine, to start the road towards seeing who's going to be our grand final champion this season of Osiris League. So I'm excited for y'all. I hope y'all are as excited as I am. Let's talk about some of the things that the road to where these teams had to go through in order to get here. We'll start off with 61HX. Coming out of the Sobek realm, like we said, had commander lock, so they weren't utilizing Nevsky and all these brand new commanders that were coming out, and had hard fought battles between 56TA. They're in their own right, battled huge opponents, knocking out all the favorites. I believe every single the Bastet and Sobek realm lost their favorites with the Eyes of Talent, and both of these zones ended up doing that. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see if 61 are able to take out 60GT, who most in some regard as possibly the best team in Osiris League this season, and I'm sure 1V has something to say about that. So it's going to be exciting. 60 GT had their road as well, going through WIB, which was a phenomenal match as well. Very, very tight. And then taking on 60 MX, who are their duos. Their duos in Kingdom 1960. And yeah, it was always fun. So we're going to be kicking it off here in about 3 minutes. So we'll dive into it, kind of let y'all know. We break everything down. And I hope y'all as excited as I am. I hope the bets are correct. Yeah. The betting was very, very fun. So a lot of people, and I didn't even realize this here. Let me go back. If you click this little white arrow, right, there are actually side bets. And I found this out later in the league when somebody pointed it out to me. You can make side bets that pay 1 for 1, where you can, do occupation, you can do arc scores, you can do total kill leader, and you can do 1 for 1 bets on some of these. So it's very interesting to see how the betting's going. People were getting a little excited with the 06 because at one point in the match, they actually led by 3K before 1V captured their first arc. So you never know. The breakoffs are always very, very unique and very interesting. And I am excited to see what kind of different combos we're going to see from both of these teams. The fact that gear doesn't account for anything, it changes a lot of stuff. And I know a lot of people, if you're up and coming in ARC, this is definitely the kinds of teams that you want to watch, because it becomes about the synergy between all your marches. And I think that is where 60 GT and all of these respective Osiris League champions separated themselves from the competition, is just how they sync it up. Even with the same commanders throughout the league in this contest, you'll see a bunch of different varieties. And that's kind of where it's going to be unique. Where is Drago? Drago is actually in Kingsland right now. So we're doing it. We're doing the hostess with the mostess right now, so our boy can go and battle it out. So I'm excited for him, and I'm excited for this match as well, which is going to be firing up in about 1 minute and 45 seconds. So schedule, honor, rewards, rules. We've kind of gone through all those. We can show y'all some of the other stuff if you haven't seen it already. Rewards. I actually like this banner. It's pretty sweet. So I like the additional perks that we're always getting. And Osiris League champions, I know this is just for fun for them, so it'll be fun. But let me post a quick thing. We got a minute before the thing goes up. Maybe I can hop in here, and I'm going to post a poll real quick up for y'all, so y'all can let me know who y'all have in this contest, who y'all actually think is going to pull this one out. All right. All right. Poll is up. Poll is up. Okay. We got about 30 seconds, and then we are going to be loading into the match. Make sure y'all answer the poll if you haven't already, and then we're going to get this party started. I'm excited to see some unique combos. Usually, we're going to start to see... we actually didn't see very many museum commanders getting pulled out last match. We also saw a lot of... I think we saw maybe 2 YSG primary marches as well. There was a lot of the normals that we didn't see. So 1V traditionally used to run a lot of museum commander CCs off the breakoffs, all that kind of stuff, and they didn't. So that is going to be very, very interesting between these two teams. And as the clock ticks in, let's get in here. And we are in, folks. Let's get ready to roll. 61HX versus 60 GT. Good luck to both of these teams as we check out kind of their combatants and road to the championship. Man, forgive me if I can't pronounce some of these names, guys. I am trying. Sleepy Owl. Look at that guy. All right, road to the championship for the side of 61HX. You see 56TA. They battled them 2 times for the championship. NRGP as well. And then 60GT battling 60MX, as well as WIB and CMC on the road to the championship. And here we go. We are in the match. We got 2 minutes before the gates open. I'm going to end that poll here in about 30 seconds. So make sure you get your votes in there. Let's check out some of these players. 60MX. We'll start on their side first and kind of show them off to really see what kind of power we're working with on either side. 60 GT, we can go check them out, but we know that they're absolutely stacked. All right. Kronos. It's amazing to see all these 100 mil power players plus just battling it out. All right, we got a minute left. We will click through the last of the 61HX and then flip over to the 60 GT. And as they poured in, here we go. Oh my goodness. Side duck. Side duck. All right, let's get through these players as well. Good luck with 45 seconds left before the match starts off. We also saw some unique garrisons last match as well. We saw YSS primary with Theodora secondary and some of the garrisons. And as Chiskel kind of pointed out, maybe it's a shift because equipment not mattering as much, just the ability to dump troops in, regardless of, just having mixed troops. Alrighty, I'm about to end this poll. Give me 1 second, ladies and gents. And as we close it, of course. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoy the stream as well. 6 seconds and the gates are about to open. We're going to start on the side of 60 GT and then we'll flip flop over to 61HX here very quickly. Let's see the kind of combos that we're looking at. Lots of Ethels. We got some Jets. So it looks like they're standard setup. Oh, see, and we are seeing it. Okay, so it might have to do with March speed. I have a feeling it has to do with the debuff from Tommy as well. That was another insightful point that Chiskel pointed out as well. So it is going to be very interesting to see the different combos that we are going to see due to the fact that there is no equipment buffs, along with no VIP, all that kind of stuff. We are going to see some different combos, most likely. All right, let's click a couple more of these. We are seeing a lot of Nevsky's XYs. That is very, very common in Osiris League. A lot of Guans. Okay, nice to see. Let's go flip over to 61HX and kind of see what they're rolling with as well. Mr. Banana Helmet himself just making guest appearances. Saladin, very interesting. Okay. Amani. Very interesting. They decided to go with Saladin. There's more Saladin combos out here. XYs. Cool. There's Honda. That's what we're kind of expecting a lot of. There was a ton of Hondas, whether it was XY Honda, whether it was, Ethel Honda. There was so many different varying combos with Honda in them. He's almost the MVP. So let's zoom out, see kind of the macro version of this as we see a lot of pushing going on either side, fairly even split. First occupations, them getting into their obelisk off the rip. South side, bottom side. Let's see. XY structures opening in about 3 minutes. So then it becomes about the brawls. The brawls. We got 12 rallies coming in. Literally everything that can get rallied is getting rallied right now. All right, both obelisks have been occupied. Okay, we should see teleports coming in sooner than later. Apologies for that. go. Marching. I want to see which side. If somebody's going to steal first occupation, there's Sleepy pushing through. I feel like he's going to pull back here in a hot second. 61HX, a lot of cav coming through in its own right. 2 minutes before, and 60 GT are already pushing. We got a one rally coming through for 60 GT. All right, let's go. I want to see what this rally is going to do real quick. It's a very odd rally. Yeah, I was going to say it was a very odd rally if you're going to let it hit because it's not fast. Just get more troops up. There you go. 60 GT. Looks like 61HX are going to let it ride with their Alex rally. So a little over a minute before the altars and shrines are going to open up. 61HX letting this rally ride. And as you're going to see, these cities are about to start porting in. Yeah, and I was going to say they're going to break off. They possibly, yeah, they're going to block some teleport spots. I don't know if they can block every single teleport spot. I don't think they can. I think you're just going to see them port on the backside of this. Ooh, and right in front. Oof. The scramble is on. The scramble is on. And here you go, pulling some troops back. That might have been their play because look, 61HX is not pushing forward on the bottom side. Where are their marches at? 60 GT could start pushing forward towards this shrine. All right, as they're already pushing on this desert altar at 30 seconds leading up to it. The thing that you always want to look when you're trying to sneak first occupation is you see that white ring around the desert altar. You don't want to park your troops on that because what's going to end up happening is the second that the shield comes down, your troops will have to come out to then go into the structure. And with 10 seconds coming in, we're going to see if 60 GT are going to be able to sneak in here and try to steal first occupation on this altar. And here we go. And they do sneak in. Oh no. Zenobia out here getting swarmed to high heaven. She thought she was getting in. She thought she was getting in. And this is the danger. This is the danger of being that close. The Xeno getting swarmed down. I see a Jadwiga in garrison. Yeah, through all the chaos. And there are a ton of cav over here to reinforce. It's going to be very interesting. We got 6 minutes and 45 seconds before the first arc spawns. Usually both of these teams start rotating around the 5-minute mark towards mid. So first occupations are really, really important. And Jadwiga is not moving an inch. With a minute 15 before occupation kicks in, this is going to be really interesting to see what they do. You should see most of these 60 GT marches starting to push forward to try to zero themselves on cities or on marches, just so they can start sending those fresh troops towards mid as soon as possible. With 1 minute left, let's see if that's going to be enough. All right, a clean hold right here, 50 seconds on this side. It appears the shrine is going to be held by 61HX. We do have a structure down here on 61HX. They were able to flip-flop for a hot second. Pure 60 GT, they have now gotten the attention. And first occupation, it looks like, is about to get stolen away from 61HX on this first altar. Yeah, it might get close. It might be close. But with 5 seconds left, it might be too little, too late. Oh, and they barely sneak it out. That was a lot closer than we thought it was going to be. That was super close. 61 almost flipped it at the last second. That swarm was very intense. But right now, you're seeing them. It's a very awkward situation. They were swarming it. Now they have a ton of yellow and red marches that they have to kill off. And with 5 minutes before the first arc spawns, ooh, Freddy, you'd love to see it. We got a Freddy with a Zenobia getting swarmed on the outside. Let's rotate in towards the middle, see who's going to be coming in first. We have 60 GT already heading towards middle after sneaking that first occupation. Points per minute, 440 to 560 in favor of 60 GT. This is where the rubber meets the road, as you say. We're going to see how 61HX are going to try to counter 60 GT in mid game, which to me is probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest aspect of 60 GT's art game is mid. It's definitely something that if you want to improve on your team or see some cool stuff, look at their march compositions. It's very, very structured, very organized. You're going to see it structured to a T. All right. Start looking at some of these. We got Swarm coming in with Jad. Marches rotating in. Yeah, they're not taking that Jad down. And this is with no equipment on either. XY Garrison. Oof. We do see 3 altars on the side of 61HX, though, which is, it is going to help. It's going to help lessen the blow. Points per minute, kind of bring back that loss from the first occupation. It's always very, very helpful. In 30 seconds, it should tick over with the XY Garrison. Man. And the Swarm right here, trying to go for the Shrine to lessen those buffs, rotating in towards middle. And I don't think this Jedwig is going down with 3 minutes left. We are teeing up for the middle. Both sides are still sending troops here. Both of them are going to be a little late. But as you see, the troops are coming. And coming they are. Let's check out some of the troop compositions from 61HX and see kind of what they're bringing. We've got XY Nevskis, Saladins, got a little Nebus, XY Honda primary. Okay. Okay, and then on the side of 60 GT, we see Amani, we see Eddie. Yes, Banana Hat himself. Let's go. XY's, Guans, Ethels, Nebus. It's one of those. It's a sight to see. We got some Chandras mixed in here. Now keep in mind, they do have every commander under the sun. VIP does not count. Yeah, nothing, essentially nothing realistically counts in this grand finals. Equipment does not count. VIP does not count. Additional buffs outside do not count. So it is about as close to level playing field as you will ever see in Rise of Kingdoms. So here we go. In about a minute and a half, the battle will rage on, and we will find out who's going to be pulling this first arc. Now, keep in mind, the first arc is not a make or break arc. We always say this. It's worth 3,000 points, but what it does give you is that option to control and dictate the pace of the match, whether you would decide to hold it, whether you decide to instant capture it. When you capture it, you get to control a lot of the pacing of the game. So that is why this first arc is important. Yes, all commanders are available. Regardless of whatever realm you are in or whatever kingdom number you are in, all commanders are available to these teams just for this event. Mystical Formation getting popped, War Drums getting popped, 60 GT, and then Mystical coming in on the side of 61HX and War Drums as well, which is pretty standard deploy for your first arc rotation. All right, here we go. Lots of red all over the place. Let's see who is going to survive the longest. It's always fun to see and keep your eyes on the map and look at the map. All three of the altars flipping on the side for 60 GT. Is it me, or is there a lot more blue? Maybe the red's getting lost in the red numbers. That could be it. But we are seeing the arc getting pulled on the backside. If Rose can get this, oh, they pull it from the other side. Run, 61. Ooh. And so many sad faces coming out on the side of 61HX. You got to grab it, boys. The fact that they pulled that first is huge because it parks the arc on the back side. And you're starting to see 60GT starting to move their troops onto the opponent's side. I want to see somebody scoop this arc up and 60GT scoop it up. And they are now moving it with the Chandra over here, moving it through the wire. Oh, and just as we were praising the blue marches, 60GT pull the arc and are now running it back to their starting zone. Oh, man. Woo! I was sweating there for a hot second, and then all those blue marches got popped, and it was just like, oof, oof. So now 60GT will be able to dictate the pacing of this match, and it's very interesting. Look at this. Look at the amount of yellow marches on the side of 60GT. They still had plenty in the tank. Plenty in the tank. 61HX setting a couple of smaller marches. Here we go. As we watch the structures, if you're 61HX, should be flipping back over to structure game right now. All those marches getting sent to Valhalla. And here we go. Sky Altar getting swarmed down. It looks like it could go down. We're going to look for some reinforcement marches real quick. And it looks like the reset for the map should begin shortly as they swarm down this Jad. All right. It looks like... Ooh. Should flip over. There you go. Flipping over. Let's check out these altars. 60GT rotating backwards to resecure their position. And then you should see them start to push forward. There's your regroup spot for 61HX. The rally, it does not appear there is a rally set on this structure, but we do have 11 going, which is usually an indicator that they are rallying outposts as well, which is always a very annoying strategy, man. If you have to defend those, oof, constant rallies over and over and over again. And here comes 60GT getting ready to blow up this regroup spot. All right, let's flip topside real quick. Go Desert Altar. And Ethel Honda, you love to see it. We got the Freddy combo coming out. The Freddy combo. Okay. Freddy Caesar. This guy, what a unit. This guy is absolutely tanking. New meta. Here we go. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? Look at this guy. All right, here we go. Jad getting swarmed down. Oh, it could get some reinforcements coming in here. Here comes Sleepy. Here come just dumping them in. Dump them in. There's so many Eddies on the field. It's awesome to see. How many of y'all thought you would see Eddie in the Invitational? A lot of people definitely did not. Entered the Shrine of Life. And there you go. Flip-flopping the structures. 61HX. Looks like the points per minute. Hitting slightly in favor of 61. 590 to 360. The Jad still looks so tanky in here. Just insane. The Xeno Garrison. And that was the other thing we wanted to keep our eyes on is which garrisons. Now that everything is available, which garrisons are they going to run? You know, and it was very interesting to see 1V running with YSS Theodora combos in their match previously. you know, just because I think of the lack of equipment and all that kind of stuff, I think it just lends well towards it. So it'll be interesting to see when they compete next week if they still use the same combos. Here, 61 pushing up. Arc is being held, it appears. Let me see. Should be right here. Yep. Arc is being held by Rose. And we're seeing rotations coming through. 3 altars. Nope. 2 altars. 2 and 2. But they are all blinking. Man, look at the swarm. Ooh, look at the amount of XYs swarming this. Then you got the debuff coming from Eddie. Then you have Ethel. Then you, oh my goodness. There you go. Oof. Ticking over. All 4 altars being held on the side of 60 GT. Come the reinforcements for 61, and the arc is still being held on. It's very interesting to me for that one, for sure. Do you see an obelisk blinking? Let's see if that has any value to it. Okay. So they are going to pull it. Do we have any reinforcement troops? Or did they just jump out? The good old Guan garrison. The good old Guan. Got a minute and a half. A minute and a half. I don't know. That one's going to be a little dicey. There's just too many bodies back here. I think they're going to swarm this down. We'll keep our eyes on it, though. Let's flip over some of these structures. 30 seconds, and they're going to start ticking over in the points per minute. Look at that. 290 to 230, because all these altars haven't ticked over yet. 30 seconds for that one as well. So in about 30 seconds, you're going to see quite a bit of a point jump. Quite a bit of a point jump. There you go, about a minute and a half. And as I see on the map, they flipped it back over to 60 GT for that obelisk. Why Ethel in front of Trajan and Arc? So the reason that a lot of people use Ethel in front of Trajan is for peacekeeping, but also for march speed. That's the reason why. The peacekeeping part for march speed. So she goes boom boom. You know what I'm saying? For the speed. That's the other reason you'll see a lot of Hondas as well. Honda for that, you know. See them secondary behind a lot of marches. You'll see a lot of that kind of stuff. It's all about speed and art getting across the map, as opposed to, you know, sometimes you'll see like Guan Leos and KVK. You're going to see a lot more Guan Alexes on the field in Arc just because of that. So that's the other reason you see Eddies instead of YSG primaries. And that's something that I was discussing with Chisco last stream. Why do we think there was a big shift? There used to be a lot of YSG primaries, and now it's just a bunch of Eddie and Tommies. And partially it was because of speed. The others partially because of the debuff with Tommy. So that's where this level playing field changes a lot of stuff. Is because of that. It becomes more about the synergy and the purity of the commanders themselves and how they correlate with your murder ball, with your other group of fighters as well. Yeah, the rules for this grand finals change a lot of strategy. Change a lot of the strategy. XY garrison, let's go. As we see, this structure should flip over in a hot second. I do like the idea that 61HX are flipping structures, so that is a positive note. They are down by 2,000, but keep in mind, 60GT are holding the arc, so that is a cool 3,000 points in their pocket. So they realistically are up. And as we say that, they're up by about 5,000 points. So the next arc will be in about 8 minutes. It is very interesting that they decided at that point to capture it because they currently only hold, well, they did flip one over. So it's 2 arcs or 2 altars and 2 altars. So we're going to see how this goes. Usually you tend to see 60GT target that Shrine of War prior to rotating in towards the middle so that their opponent doesn't take advantage of those additional buffs that they get in mid fights. The arc just got captured, 7. All right, let's see. Jadwiga, she should hold up on that structure. It's going to be very interesting to see what CCGT decide to do because that timing seemed very awkward. It seemed very off because we've got 2 minutes before they tend to rotate middle. Maybe we see a play. It was actually pretty genius 1v last match, last cast. On the third arc, they knew that 06 had to get the arc. So what they did was they sent some marches to the middle, and then the 06 knew that 1v had to the death in their pocket. So they super invested into the middle, and then 1v just went on the outside and literally flipped every single structure. It was actually really, really smart. They debated him by not using a skill. It was actually pretty cool. And here comes the swarm from 61HX. See if it pays off for him. So many Eddies out here. Look at this. Eddie. And then you got your reinforcement marches, the CC Caesar. Lots of Guans. Structure just flipped over to 61. They are now holding 3 of the 4 altars. And as we said, look, Shrine getting targeted. Looks like the rally's gonna get crushed. And then we see over here. Oof. Looks like they're about to flip it too. So they're gonna hold theirs. But is 60GT gonna hold theirs? It looks like, yeah, they swarmed it down. So both of them are retaining their shrines. Let's peekaboo at what's going on in mid game to see if there's anything happening. There is nothing. All right, let's keep our eyes on outside then. I do like the aggressiveness from 61HX on these shrines and these altars. And 45, that jet should hold up. All these marches are killing themselves off to start rotating in towards the middle. Here comes the rally on this altar. Got an XY, I presume XY Nevsky coming in hot. But with little to no reinforcements, this thing is going to get absolutely swarmed into the ground. And if you're 60GT, they might not even swarm this. Just because I don't think XY would still beat this jet. Ooh, okay. Might have to walk that back a little bit. Here we go. Jad's already mid at yellow. Gonna have to keep our eyes on this. There's your XY Honda over here up top on the 60GT side. Leopard running the XY Honda. Ah, okay. We see a Guan CJ as well. Interesting combos. Okay, I like that. A lot of different combos. Got Leo primary. Okay. All right, and 3.5 minutes. Let's rotate in towards the middle. 61HX, 60GT, and here are the numbers coming in Oh man, we're already popping the YSG incense. All right, 3 minutes left. This is where I think, I don't know if both of them will pop to the death. This is, I think one of them will, and I think the other one might end up just holding off on it. But if you're 61, you 100% need this art. You can't afford to give it to 60 GT. So you should see numbers getting invested in here. We're going to keep our eyes on some of the structures flip flop real quick. So, you know, Chandra's getting melted. Okay. Here comes more and more and more troops. All right. As they pour them all in. I've always liked this strategy. For those of y'all who don't know, if you'll look at all these lines, when you are running to the middle, there is a point where they all vector into the same node. And if you invest a player into doing nothing but doing this, which is what he's doing, lowering the marches down to yellow and red, you are doing your team more, you know, a better service doing this, because now all these marches are going to end up yellow and red fighting for the arc as it pops. So that one player just did a lot of work for a lot of those marches. And here the battle is about to start here. I would say I'm probably like, oh, it's about to start. I was gonna say in a couple of seconds, but as we see 60 GT starting to creep up, I think it looks like they're trying to debate a couple skills out. Ashu, so usually we don't put audio on here because then if people run a lot of Williams, all you're going to hear is grunting the entire match. So that is the only reason why. All right, here we go. Skills getting popped. $61HX popping mystical, GT popping to the death. And here comes War Drums for the side of 61HX. I want to see if they pop Heaven's Grace or to the death. I feel like they would have already done it if they were going to do it. Makes you wonder why. Ooh. Perhaps they didn't have the skills necessary to do it. Skill points. And there go all the sad faces, baby. All right, 18 seconds. Let's see who's going to get that first snag of the arc. And as it's starting to clean up, it looks like blue is getting absolutely obliterated in mid game. Should be an easy pull for 60 GT. And there we go, pulling it on the backside. The remaining blue marches getting sent away. And there you go. Decade pulling out the arc, already running it back with that Ethel. And as we see, rotating forward this time to start securing and swarming down those structures. Just like that. There goes arc number 2. We got 25 minutes left in the match. What can 61HX do to kind of try to bring this back a little bit? So that arc is going to be worth 3,500 points. So they will realistically be up by about 6K. It is not over by any means, but 6K is a big hill to climb, especially against an opponent like 60 GT. The easiest way, and it's not really an easy way, is you definitely need to start holding some of the higher scoring structures. So you can't afford to have this happen. So on the map, you'll see they're holding 3 of the 4 altars, each at 150 points per minute. You just can't have that. You can't have them take the arc and take the highest scoring structures. So you need to hold a majority of that. They may need to invest a couple of additional marches into provisions to try to rope that in towards the tail end, and hope that there's another arc that spawns. You know, I'm not sure if there will be another one. Even if there is, there may not be enough time to capture it. So those are the kinds of things that if you're 61HX, you're going to have to look forward to trying to strategize around that. And there we go. Flipping structures over. Good to see. 61 starting that movement. They did flip, so now they have 2 of the 4. We definitely want to start seeing some movement on this side as well. There you go. Should see the marches starting to rotate towards the south to start trying to neutralize this desert altar. There we go. I'm liking the aggression. Jad and Garrison, swarming marches approaching. Let's see how this is going to hold up. Jad looks like, man, look at how many eddies are in. There's so many eddies. Banana Hat himself, man. He's just, oh, man. Eddie for the MVP, man. Eddie for the MVP. And here comes the swarm coming in hot on this Jad, but she is holding up super well. A Guan Honda. Interesting. Okay, so it appears the arc is getting pulled towards this obelisk. Okay, so they're probably going to hold that for a hot second. Seeing some fresh marches come over here. Jad is still holding on. She is still holding on, getting some reinforcements in here. This is the tough part. This is the tough part, and this is why when we were talking about marches, why speed is so important, right? You're marching across the entire map to help your teammates, reinforcing, swarming. So if you're marching really slow marches, it's going to take forever to do that. So that is why, that is what you're looking for, is that speed, that additional speed. The Freddy Caesar, man. Stay loyal to the end. Loyal to the end. And Jad, she got re-topped off. Zenobia. See, this is the part. Okay, this is the part where when we always tell a lot of teams, if you're watching this, there's no need to swarm this XY. This XY will automatically lose to Xeno after a certain point. So instead of killing your marches on that rally that is already going to lose to the garrison, instead you would start rotating in over here to not waste your time fighting something that is already going to be losing. You do see a lot of 61 pushing forward. We're still 2 altars and 2 altars. So let's look at that points per minute. 560 to 510. 60 GT still holding that arc, which is going to be worth 3,500. So they still have a nice little cushion. Nice little cushion with 20 minutes left in the match. The CC swarm is real. It is real. And they are holding on to this altar for dear life. And just like that, another altar flips in favor of 60 GT. It's just, the timing of these is just really, really insane. Just the amount of effort they put into constantly flipping these altars over and over and over again. Zenobia in garrison already. Minute 35 before it starts ticking over. Clearing out all the 61 marches around this altar. And then you'll see those marches that are yellow and red after they clear this out, starting to move forward to just zero themselves out. And it appears we may be having a third and final arc, but we still got 8 minutes before they absolutely have to capture it, and then we'll look into it. So they'll still have about 10 minutes for the next one, which is plenty of time. That is plenty of time. Hard push coming on the side of 60 GT. And here you go. Like we were saying, this is a power position right here. This position between the obelisk and this altar, where you will see a lot of teams that will just progress forward on this side of the map. So basically you're exiting your city to get absolutely pounded by all these marches, which makes it a lot harder for you to reinforce, for you to get through the swarm before you're getting absolutely hit by all these marches. Rally I did see coming in. We got Zenobia cleaned up as well, so she's pretty topped off. And then we'll flip over to a couple of these other structures here in a hot second. 2 seconds, and there you go. 60 GT ticking over for that desert altar. Let's look at the points per minute. 440 to 660, and the rally, as you saw, got knocked out. So they pulled back to swarm that rally, and it is just a back and forth, like a wave, just crashing back and forth, clearing out. Let's move over to some of these other altars real quick. We got a Guan garrison. We got that Freddy. Yeah. Let's go. Gotta utilize that relic Freddy. There you go, Jad now in garrison. Look at the amount of banana hats running through. It's like everybody's running one. It's just so many of them. It appears like every single person is running an Eddie March. 26 seconds. Let's see if 60 GT are going to hold on. It looks as if they are, but 61 HX, this structure being so close to the obelisk, you know, I feel like there's not enough time before it ticks over, but will they hold it? That's always the key. 290 to 660 with 16 minutes left. They're up by 4K with 3.5K in the pocket because of the arc that they're holding, which we'll go and check out here in 1 second. And he should be, where is he hiding? Hello. Where's he at? Uh-oh, Picky-boo. Where did he go? I'm blind. Let's just, oh, there he is. Hello. There you go. Holding the arc. That's about 5 minutes before he needs to cap it. And then we'll go from there. 4 altars, all 4 altars in the hands of 60 GT. Oh man, 60 MX got to pull a little rabbit out of their hat. They need to start pulling these and get ready for rotating in mid. They did not pop to the death on second rotation, so they will have it available. But it's going to be interesting to see if 60 GT have something in their bag as well to possibly counter that. Maybe a Heaven's Grace. Maybe, you know, I've seen it with War Drums and Mystical with some extra additional numbers. You know, there's other ways as well. Burt sighting. There we go. And once again, it's very surprising we aren't seeing YSG anywhere on this field. Eddies have replaced the YSG in here, and now everybody is running Eddie. And there we go. 2 altars flipping for 61HX. More marches right here, but they aren't swarming the structure. And that's kind of what you want to see if you're over here. You don't want to open field necessarily all the time. You do want to clear some marches out if you can, but it's always about the structure. You always want to focus on that. "14 minutes left, 4 minutes before the arc has to be captured. The lead is up to 6K. Holding those altars for that long helped out a tremendous amount. There we go. Rally getting nuked. Jet's going to get a couple of reinforcements. The altars are constantly in favor. And look at this. This is what we were talking about. We're trying to clear them out. Got a Caesar Freddy. The good old Caesar Freddy combo. Got an Amani Garrison. Okay. We got Jad right there, ready to get into this structure. Just holding on for dear life. 10 seconds and they can get a tick on it. Oh, it's going to hold on. Zenobia gets in. The reinforcements, that might have just clutched it up for him for at least the... Oh, there you go. Get a couple of ticks on that. That at least helps a little bit. They're probably about to lose that for sure. Unless this March can get in here and stall. Which I don't know if it's going to make it in time. Look at how many Jads are out here. There are 3 Jads swarming this structure. Oof. And there you go. Flips over to 60 GT. They now own all 4 altars. All 4 altars. 2 minutes before the last and final arc for this match, with 12 minutes left in the game. The lead is up to 5K in favor of 60 GT. All right, let's see. Jad Garrison, okay, 60 GT. Now, keep in mind, this is forward-facing structures. The idea, and ideally, for most teams, you're going to see Jad and Garrison on these far structures just because of the amount of cab that are on the field. But Zeno being able to get up here just makes it even worse. Just super tanky, man. Just super tanky. Even Jad in her own right is super tanky, but still. Oh, Bert spotted. Let's go. Let's go, Bert. All right. Altars still, well, 3 of the 4 are now in favor of 60 GT. It's just the amount of occupation, guys. I'm telling you right now, the sheer amount of time spent with 60 GT holding more than 2 altars is really insane. It's just the timing on it. They are constantly holding either 3 or 4 altars, all ticking at 150 points per minute. You're already adding that up, 600 points per minute just between those 4 structures. Like that's pretty insane. It's pretty insane when you in regards to what your focal point should be when you're trying to neutralize. And there you go. They just captured the arc 8 minutes before the next one. Gives us 2.5 minutes to capture it. Is it possible? Yes. Is it plausible? We won't ever say never, all right? But, you know, Swift Stride will have to be used. A lot of fast CCs, you know, but keep in mind, there's no gear. So that windswept gear, all that kind of stuff that would have expedited your speed and do all that is not available. So, you know, you have really no viable alternative to kind of slow down the idea that your March is going to be slow running that arc. Usually you can try to counter it a little bit with gear and skills and all that kind of stuff, but with no windswept gear, none of that kind of stuff on your CCs, you know, it's going to be pretty tough to get in 2.5 minutes. I'm not sure if that's possible without gear. Valiant Stand getting popped. Okay. Even the Zenobia is swarming at this point. Look, we got the CC Garrison rolling deep in here. Oh man, OP Relic Commander. Let's go. The Belisarius. Yes. The Belisarius making an appearance. You love to see it. Nevsky primary. Well, Zenobia is out on the field. Okay, it looks like she got in. There you go, 61HX resetting, now owning 3 of the 4 altars, but I have a feeling there's Valiant Stand. They're still holding this guy. And Zenobia with Valiant Stand, she's already super tanky. And then you add in that skill. Oof. It's like running into multiple brick walls. Here comes the XY rally. Most likely an XY Nevsky. See how well he does. There goes the Zenobia. Look. Oh, with little to no reinforcements near in sight. Oof. And it looks like, oh, I won't speak too early. And there you go. 60 GT, flip that. Now we are back to a 2-2 altar split. 4 minutes left in mid. Let's see if we're going to see a little action in the middle. We got 6.5 minutes left. A 10K lead. This arc is worth 4,000 points. So if by any sort of stretch of the imagination, 61 is able to pull this arc and run it back with what, 2.5 minutes left, you know, you can't ever say never, but we need to go check out some of the provisions, see if how many provisioners we have out there. If we only have a normal amount, I doubt we're going to be able to pull this through, but you never know until the final bell rings. See, I'm not seeing anything. There's one. They might have also pulled them for the mid rotation as well. 2. I'm only seeing a couple marches. Okay. Zoom in a little bit. Let's go into mid. 61HX. Oh man, he's getting picked off. This guy's just trying to send his march home. Somebody help him out. Help a brother out. How funny would that have been if they all retreated just to not help him out? And once again, look what's happening. That same guy. Look at Ende. Oh, he's just pummeling as many marches as possible, just trying to march through and just picking them one by one by one by one. This is something that I say all the time. If you have a player of this caliber that can do this, it is huge. There's so many marches that are going to go in yellow now that wouldn't have been yellow. And there you go. And on top of that, he will still be able to come in later. He'll be a little late rotating towards mid, but he'll still get his marches in towards middle. And here comes 60 GT. The aggressors this time pushing through on the other side, starting to pick the fight. I think I want to see if they're trying to get them to pop. Okay, so they pop war drums. If they're trying to bait out to the death. And there comes Mystical on the side. 60 GT and Heaven's Grace getting popped as we expected. To the death getting popped. Oh no. This could spell tragedy. Spell tragedy for 61HX with that Heaven's Grace getting popped. Look at the green coming in. We are going to see who is going to win this with 1 minute left before the arc spawns and 3.5 minutes left in the match. Here we go. The adventure of the sad faces. Who's out here running with oh man, use your buff. Use your buff. It looks like there's a lot more blue, but we always say that. 20 seconds left before the arc spawns. If you're 61, you need to get this pull first. If 60 GT pull this first, it smells trouble. So many blue. The arc has appeared. Who's going to pull it first? I can't see. I can't see it. And 60 GT pull it. Oh, he's running it. Oh no. He gets melted, but he's already on that side of the field. It looks like 61 may have cleared him out, but that one pull might have just done it. Because wait, it comes down to the clock. We got 2 minutes left. Even if they pick this up, I don't think they're going to have enough time to run it. That one pool, that's why I was telling y'all, the pool is huge. Because in order to run it back around the structure, that adds on another 15 to 20 seconds that is just wasted time. And look at the slow and gets melted. Oh. Look at those. And that was literally all they had to do was just try to scoop it, stall for a hot second. With 1:30, there is no way for them to capture this. There's just no way for them to capture this. They're going to run out of time. Even if they run it to the outpost, I don't think they'll make it. And the guy's not even running. He has 50 seconds, 55, 4. Oh, he still could make it. Okay. Bye-byes, running the arc. He's running it. Oh man, he was shooting his shot. He's shooting his shot. He was shooting his shot. Who's running the arc now? Do they have enough time? 30 seconds left. They still have time to capture this. They are down by 11,000 points. So this arc is going to take some of it back. It won't take all of it back. And we got 30 seconds left in this match. I don't think, the slow, every time he gets hit, he's getting slowed. There's no way. Yeah. I don't think he's going to make this. Popping the flowers, sending him a little love. With 10 seconds left, he might make it. Got that CC. Oh, okay, never mind. For some weird reason, I think the display glitch was pretty nutties. Oh, he stopped going to the structure. That's why. He stopped going to the structure. So GG's, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at the tail of the tape. See our MVP. MVP is way at 192K from 60 GT. Let's look at the tail of the tape, ladies and gentlemen. 61HX with 27.6K points. 60 GT with 40.3. Arcs 2-0 in favor of 60 GT, scoring that 6,500 points. Occupation score actually pretty close. It wasn't as bad, as I would have assumed because of the amount of time that I thought 60 GT were holding all those altars. So that is very surprising. 26 to 29K. Look at the provisions, 1.5 to 4,400. And the kills in favor of 60 GT at 85 million. Flip-flop that for severely wounded. Units healed. Wow. Units healed. I would have thought that probably would have been the other way around, but units healed 5 million troops for the side of 60 GT, 30 teleports to 29. So let's get in real quick. I'm going to explain a little something before we head out and call that a cast. Give me 1 second, guys. Let's go in here and go to the grand finals. Okay. So as you will see around 2, it says TBD. That will be 1v versus 60 GT next weekend, where they will battle it out, starting the best of 3 between those two. Should be an absolute bloodbath. I hope y'all enjoy the cast, the streams, the bets, all that kind of stuff. Make sure, if you haven't already, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy the content and would love to see more, definitely consider subscribing to the official Rise of Kingdoms YouTube. My links are also in the description below if you want to come and hang out. And next week, buckle up. It's going to be a treat. 1v versus 60 GT in the best of 3. So I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, rockers. Don't forget to smash that like button before you head out. And we will see you all on the next stream. Alrighty. Y'all have a great one, rockers.